Madoka Kaname. Madoka Kaname is at the center of everything that happens in the series. She starts off as a regular 8th grader at Mitakihara Middle School, shy, gentle, and always wanting to help others. Her magical girl design is cheerful and elegant, but it hides the dark reality of her fate. At first, Madoka doesn't become a magical girl right away like some others. That's because Homura, another magical girl, is looping through timelines to protect her from making a wish and falling into despair. In each timeline, Madoka's wish changes, usually trying to save her friends like Sayaka or Homura. These repeated resets build up her potential energy, making her the most powerful magical girl ever. Eventually, in episode 12, she makes her final wish, to erase all witches across all timelines, past, present, and future, before they're even born. This wish rewrites the rules of the magical girl system itself. It's so powerful that it turns her into a goddess-like being known as Ultimate Madoka. As Ultimate Madoka, her entire look changes. Her bow becomes her main weapon, and her power lets her purify soul gems just by touching them. She literally becomes a concept, hope itself, existing beyond time, watching over all magical girls so they never have to fall into despair again. After this transformation, no one remembers her except for Homura and her little brother Tatsuya, who thinks of her as an imaginary friend. Homura Akemi. Homura Akemi is one of the 5 main magical girls, and she has the most complex and emotionally intense story arc in the series. She starts off as a quiet, cold, and mysterious transfer student at Mitakihara Middle School, but her personality is actually the result of everything she's been through. Nearly 100 time loops, all to save one person, Madoka Kaname. In the very first timeline, Homura was actually the opposite of what she became later. She was shy, weak, sick with a heart condition, and had no confidence at all. After being saved by Madoka and Mami from a witch's labyrinth, she admired them and eventually made her own wish, to go back in time and become strong enough to protect Madoka. This wish gave her time-based powers, and she's been using them ever since to try and save Madoka from making a contract with Kyubi. Her main power is the ability to stop and reset time. She stores her weapons, mostly bombs and firearms, in her shield, which works like a sand timer. She's not flashy like the other magical girls, but she's extremely strategic and focused. She can stop time completely and move through it as long as she doesn't touch anyone. She can also teleport and use her shield as a defense and storage tool. Throughout all the timelines she travels through, Homura gets stronger, more distant, and more desperate. She sees her friends die over and over again and still pushes forward. Every time Madoka dies or falls into despair, Homura resets the timeline, hoping she can change the outcome the next time. In the final part of Rebellion, Homura takes things to a whole new level. After being trapped inside her own soul gem, she manipulates the system, steals part of Madoka's godhood, and rewrites the universe. She becomes Devil Homura, not out of evil, but out of a twisted sense of love. She believes that Madoka deserves a normal life, not the burden of being a goddess. So she creates a fake world where Madoka is happy, even if it means becoming the villain in everyone else's eyes. Sayaka Miki. Sayaka Miki is a second-year middle school student at Mitakihara and is Madoka's best friend since childhood. Sayaka is kind-hearted, brave, and has a strong sense of justice, but she also tends to rush into things without fully thinking them through. She became a magical girl not for herself, but to help someone she cared about, Kyusuke Kamijo, a childhood friend and violinist who lost the ability to use his hands. Sayaka used her wish to heal him, hoping he'd be grateful and maybe even return her feelings. But when he ended up dating someone else, Sayaka became heartbroken, bitter, and started losing control. As a magical girl, Sayaka's main ability is regeneration. Because her wish was to heal someone, she can recover from injuries really fast and doesn't feel pain like others. She can also heal other people and summon tons of swords when she wraps herself in her cape. Her fighting style is flashy and aggressive, but emotionally, she struggles hard. After learning that her soul gem holds her actual soul, she starts to view herself as a zombie, and it messes with her self-worth. She sees herself as someone who gave up everything for others and got nothing in return. Sayaka's downfall happens because she sees the world in black and white. To her, being a magical girl should be about helping others and being selfless. She hates selfishness, even in other magical girls like Kyoko, who fights for her own survival. This leads to a lot of conflict between them. Kyoko tries to warn Sayaka that her mindset will only get her killed, but Sayaka doesn't listen. The more she sees how unfair the world is, the more unstable she gets. Eventually, she falls into deep despair. Her soul gem turns completely dark, and she transforms into a witch named Octavia von Seckendorf. Kyoko, who had grown to care about her by that point, is the one who carries her body out of the witch barrier. It's a sad end for someone who just wanted to do the right thing. Mami Tomoe. Mami Tomoe is a 15 years old, calm, elegant, and kind of like a big sister figure to the rest of the girls. She's the first magical girl Madoka and Sayaka meet after Kyubi tries to get them to make a contract, and right away she makes a strong impression with her flashy powers and confident personality. personality. She acts like a mentor to both girls and is the most experienced magical girl in their city when the series begins. Her theme color is yellow, and she fights using guns and magical ribbons. Her signature move is Tiro Finale, where she summons a giant rifle to finish off her enemies. When she transforms into Holy Mami in Magia Record, she can summon even more guns and becomes way more powerful. Mami's backstory is what sets the tone for the rest of the show. She lost her parents in a car crash and was seriously injured herself. While she was dying, Kyubi appeared, and she made a wish to live. That was the moment she became a magical girl. But instead of becoming a superhero with a happy life, Mami ended up isolated and constantly risking her life fighting witches. Even though she seems graceful and mature on the outside, she's actually very lonely. She puts on a smile and acts strong, but deep down, she really wants friends and people she can trust. That's why she's so excited to mentor Madoka and Sayaka. She finally thinks she might not have to fight alone anymore. Because she's been fighting alone for so long, she's not used to dealing with emotional support or betrayal. This becomes painfully clear in different timelines where, after finding out the dark truth about magical girls and witches, she completely breaks down and loses it. In one timeline, she even kills Kyoko and threatens Homura and Madoka because she believes it's the only way to save them. Kyoko Sakura shows up in episode 4 with a quick cameo but gets fully introduced in episode 5. Her soul gem sits on her chest and she uses a long spear that can extend, split into chains, and even transform during battle. Kyoko seems rude and selfish at first. She picks fights, doesn't trust others, and comes off as someone who only cares about herself. But that's just the surface. Underneath, Kyoko is caring, smart, and has a strong sense of what's right. She just hides it because of her painful past. She used to believe in using her powers to help others, but after her family was destroyed by her wish, she changed. Her father was a priest whose teachings no one listened to, so Kyoko wished for people to believe in him. But when he found out the truth behind her powers, he lost his mind, killed her mom and little sister, and then took his own life. That trauma broke her trust in helping others. After that, Kyoko swore to only fight for herself and never use her powers to save others again. She ended up teaming up with Mami Tomoe for a while before things went bad. After her family died, she became cold and started refusing to fight familiars because she thought it was a waste of energy. That caused a split between her and Mami, and they went their separate ways. Kyoko later returns to Mitakihara City after Mami's death, where she ends up clashing with Sayaka Miki, mostly because Sayaka reminds her of who she used to be. Kyoko sees her own past idealism in Sayaka, and it hurts too much to watch Sayaka fall apart the same way she did. Even though they argue and fight, Kyoko ends up caring about Sayaka deeply. In fact, she sacrifices her own life in episode 9 to try to save Sayaka after she becomes the witch Octavia. That's how far she grows emotionally, from selfish to selfless again. As a fighter, Kyoko is aggressive and skilled. Her main weapon is a long spear. She can also create walls out of red diamond shapes and even summon red staircases in Magia Record. Before her family's death, she had illusion powers too, but she lost that ability. Her attacks include Rosso Fantasma and Kugatachi, and like the others, she can use the Connect move in Magia Record to combine weapons with allies. Nagisa Momoe. Nagisa Momoe is the smallest and most energetic magical girl. She's known for being playful and cheerful, often acting like the comic relief of the group. Her debut is unique. She first appeared in the original series as the Witch Charlotte, but in Rebellion, she comes back in her human form thanks to the Law of Cycles. After returning, she works alongside Sayaka Miki and Ultimate Madoka to guide and protect magical girls. Even though she acts childish, Nagisa is actually smarter than she seems, and she often speaks in a fancy way, which adds to her quirky vibe. In her witch form, she gets overly excited about cheese to the point where she panics at the thought of turning into it. Her soul gem is lilac and shaped like a candy, which fits her sweet tooth personality. She's also got a trumpet as her main weapon. She can fire bubbles strong enough to crack a witch's barrier, and she can summon her familiars, Piotr and Polina. Her transformation phrase is Parmigiano Reggiano, which is a type of cheese. Nagisa's backstory is revealed more in Magia Record, where it's shown that she made her wish just to eat one more cheesecake with her dying mother in the hospital. Her mother, however, is harsh and bitter, blaming Nagisa for her father's absence. Their relationship is full of emotional tension, and both of them pass away due to illness soon after Nagisa makes her wish. This background adds a layer of sadness to her otherwise bubbly character. Under the giggles and cheese jokes, she's been through a lot. Iroha Tamaki. Iroha Tamaki might seem shy at first, but she is a lot stronger-willed than she appears. She doesn't care about trends, isn't great with tech, and usually keeps to herself. But when something's important, especially if it involves people she cares about, she doesn't back down. A big part of her story revolves around her missing younger sister, Ui. After making a wish to cure Ui's illness, Iroha lost all memory of even having a sister. Everyone else forgot her too. That mystery is what pushes Iroha to become a magical girl and head to Kamihama City to figure out what really happened. Iroha's main weapon is a crossbow with pink accents strapped to her arm. It's not just for fighting. Her biggest strength is her healing magic, which in the game is called reversal. This lets her recover from injuries and help others survive in battle. One of her signature moves is Strada Futuro, or Path to the Future, a powerful attack that matches her theme of hope and determination. She also has one of the strongest connect abilities in the game, letting her fuse powers with another magical girl during team fights. Iroha's parents aren't around much and travel for business, so she often feels alone, especially after forgetting about her sister. But throughout Magia Records, she builds close bonds with other magical girls like Yachiyo and Tsuruno. These friendships help her grow more confident. In fact, Iroha is one of the few characters in the anime who talks directly to her doppel, the inner monster that magical girls can summon once they've pushed past their limits. According to Ultimate Madoka's magical girl story, Iroha wasn't even supposed to be a magical girl in the original timeline. In a different version of events, she died in a car accident, and Yui never got healed. That twist is part of what makes Magia Record different from the original Madoka Magica story. Yachio Nanami. Yachio Nanami is a college freshman at Kamihama City University, but she's also been a magical girl longer than most others in the story. She made her contract when she was only 12 and is now 19, making her one of the oldest and most experienced magical girls in the series. Her wish was to survive, which seems simple at first, but it ended up coming with a dark twist. Whenever she's in a life-threatening situation, someone else dies in her place. This messed with her emotionally, and it's part of why she acts cold and distant at the beginning. She believes getting close to others will only put them in danger. Her weapon is a large halberd with a blue, gold, and silver color scheme, and she can actually summon multiple versions of it at once. She's even shown using them to form a staircase in the anime. Yachio's special power is called Hope Inheritance. It lets her carry the will and strength of magical girls who have died, which makes her stronger the longer she survives. Unlike most magical girls who get weaker with age, her powers stay strong because of this ability. She also uses the Connect move from Magia Record, where she fuses powers with another magical girl by joining hands, making their attacks stronger. Even though she starts off cold and reserved, Yachiyo has her softer side. She obsesses over sales, buys mugs for everyone at Mikazuki Villa, the place she runs, and she loves yakisoba noodles. She's also a licensed driver and acts like the big sister of the group. Her bond with Iroha Tamaki is one of the most important parts of her character arc. At first, she doesn't trust Iroha and treats her like an outsider, but over time they grow close. Eventually, they become best friends and live together, fighting side by side. Tsuruno Yui. Tsuruno Yui is loud, full of energy, and always talking about how she'll become the strongest magical girl. She works at her family's Chinese restaurant, Banbanzai, and wants to bring it back to its former glory. Even though she acts goofy and confident, she's been through a lot. Deep down, she struggles with insecurity, especially after losing her friend Melana. Tsuruno tries really hard to stay positive because she's scared of being abandoned, just like when Yachiyo left after their team fell apart. Tsuruno's powers focus on fire and luck. She uses her iron fans to shoot flames, and her signature attack is called Flame Waltz. She can also use the Connect technique with other magical girls, which boosts their attacks by combining their powers. In episode 20, Yachiyo uses Connect to bring back Tsuruno from her Uwasa state. Tsuruno's backstory is tied closely to her family. Her great-grandfather and grandfather made Banbanzai famous in Kamihama, and she's proud of them. Her dad now runs the restaurant, but it's not doing well, and Tsuruno wants to fix that. Sadly, her mom and grandmother only care about money. When Tsuruno made her wish, they stole the money and left for a cruise. They even tried to sell off family heirlooms for cash. Her older sister, who used to want to help with the restaurant, left to chase her own dream abroad. Tsuruno tries to live up to her family's legacy, and even though she acts like she's got everything under control, the truth is, she's pushing herself too hard to keep others from worrying or leaving her. That's why she clings so tightly to being the strongest. Her friendship with Yachiyo is complicated. She admires her, but also feels pressured. Later in the story, she becomes Uwasa Tsuruno, which is when all her bottled-up feelings come out. Once she's saved, she makes peace with her past and reconnects with her friends, especially Yachiyo and Iroha. Sana Futaba. Sana Futaba is extremely shy, quiet, and introverted, mostly because of how badly she was treated by her family. Her parents favored her brothers for being smarter and more athletic, and they basically told Sana to stay out of the way and only email them if she needed something. That kind of constant rejection messed her up emotionally, making her feel like she didn't matter. She eventually gave up on trying to be noticed or accepted and made a wish to disappear. QB granted it, but like most wishes in this series, it came with a dark twist. She literally became invisible to everyone except other magical girls. Her magical girl form has a knight-like design. Her Her weapon is a huge emerald green shield lined with gold, which fits her more defensive and protective role. Visually, she looks like a quiet guardian. When she became invisible, she ended up in the Endless Solitude, a place where she lived alongside the Uwasa named Ai. Sana finally felt accepted there since Ai didn't judge or ignore her. That friendship gave her comfort until Ai died, which left Sana feeling lost again. Later, she meets Iroha Tamaki, and that's when things start to shift. Iroha treats Sana like a real person and gives her the chance to form real bonds. This is a big deal for Sana because it's probably the first time in a long while that someone truly cared about her. Sana struggles a lot with self-worth. Because of her past, she tends to quietly follow others who seem confident and strong, thinking she's not good enough to take the lead. But despite that, she's extremely kind and gentle towards others. That quiet loyalty makes her an important part of the group. She doesn't stand out with flashy attacks or a loud personality, but she's dependable when it matters. Felicia Mitsuki. Felicia Mitsuki acts like a tough tomboy and is always ready to swing her giant mallet into battle. Her huge hammer is her main weapon, and her soul gem hangs from 2 belts across her chest. Felicia's whole life was turned upside down by a tragic event involving her parents. The truth is, when she was younger, she played a prank on her mom while she was cooking, which caused a fire that killed both her parents. Overwhelmed by guilt, she made a wish to undo what happened, but because she didn't word it clearly, her wish got twisted. Instead of undoing the accident, her memories were changed. Now she remembers a fake version of the past, where she thinks her parents were killed by a witch. That's why she has such a deep, almost obsessive hatred for witches, even though the real cause of her parents' death was an accident she caused. The only ones who know the truth are Kyubi and Kako Natsume. Her magical ability lets her alter or erase other people's memories. It's a powerful but risky power, especially considering how her own memories were messed with. In battle, she fights with brute strength and raw energy. She also uses the connect technique like the other magical girls, where 2 magical girls join forces to boost their power. Kuroy? Kuroy is a 3rd-year middle school student who's been through a lot mentally, and her story is one of fear, self-doubt, and wanting to be saved. Out of all the girls, Kuroy is the one who clearly didn't want to be in this fight. She's scared of the whole magical girl deal and even asks Iroha how long she has to keep being one. She doesn't want to fight, but she keeps going, mostly out of survival and the faint hope that someone will help her escape it. Deep down, she admires Iroha and Yachio, and wishes she could be strong like them. But that admiration turns into envy and frustration when she realizes she can't keep up. Her low self-worth leads her to make some questionable choices, like aligning with the wings of the Magius, even though her heart's not fully in it. She eventually becomes a black feather, which makes Yachio suspicious of her. Her relationships are a big part of her story. Iroha was the first person Kuroy connected with as a magical girl, and they used to fight witches together. But when Iroha started growing stronger and Kuroy felt left behind, things got tense. Iroha still cared, but Kuroy's struggles with self-worth made things hard. Eventually, Kuroy falls into despair and transforms into her witch form, Ichitsu. Another key character is Kuro, a mysterious girl whom Kuroy met during a labyrinth mission. Kuro tried to form a bond with her, but Kuroy lied about having no grief seeds and left her behind, which ended up haunting her later. Alina Gray. Alina Gray is one of the main villains, and she's definitely not your usual magical girl. She's a self-absorbed artist who sees everything, including pain, death, and witches, as inspiration for her work. She even used herself as part of her art when she felt creatively stuck. Alina's not just arrogant, she's straight up dangerous. She treats other people's suffering like it's a joke, and isn't shy about making fun of them or even hurting them if it fuels her masterpieces. If her plans get messed up, she loses it. She's also very protective of her creations, even though she didn't care about them at first. Her goal is to create a world where no one has to become a witch, but the way she goes about it is totally reckless. In battle, one of her abilities is creating barriers, like the automatic purification system. She can trap witches, familiars, and even entire labyrinths inside cube-shaped weapons. These cubes can be handed off to other people to release or capture what's inside. Plus, her doppel's paint can mess with people's minds, making them lose control or go insane. Her magical girl design might be a visual metaphor. Her rainbow outfit with a warden's hat might represent a prison system. She's part of the same group as Tuka and Nemu, so the theme fits. While she was born in Kamihama City's Sakai ward, her name clearly sounds foreign, which hints that her parents or grandparents might be from another country. She also throws random English phrases into her speech, something called Engrish. Tuka Satomi. Tuka Satomi stands out as the youngest of the 3 Magias. She's only 11 years old, but she's a genius in math and tech. From a young age, she was already inventing things and doing complex calculations, so she knows she's smart, and she doesn't mind showing it. Tuka has a cocky attitude and likes to brag about her intelligence, but she's not all ego. She's also kind of charming in her own way, and has a soft spot for her close friends. She met Iro Tamaki and Nemu Hiiragi at her dad's hospital, and even though she and Nemu argue a lot, they always make up quickly. Tuka and Ui were super close, and their bond is a huge part of Tuka's story. Tuka first appears in Magia Record Episode 3, but only in Iroha's dream. She's playing with a toy train alongside Ui and Nemu, and things quickly go sideways, ending in a fire and a fight. Her real presence kicks in around episode 12, when she shows up outside of the dream sequences. By then, it's clear that she's not just a background character. She's one of the brains behind the Magios' organization. Tuka's wish was, "I wish for the power to convert," and like most wishes in the Madoka Magica universe, it came with a price. Her doppel is called Pennen Nold, and it's based on the Little Matchstick Girl, a sad fairy tale about a dying girl who lights matches to see her wishes. Every time Tuka lights a match through her doppel, it grants a what-if wish, but it costs her part of her lifespan. If she runs out of matches, she dies. So while it's a powerful ability, using it is dangerous. It basically lets her gamble her life to get closer to the future she wants. Nemu Hiiragi. Nemu Hiiragi plays a big role as one of Iro Tamaki's best friends and one of the 3 Magios. She's 11 years old, super smart, and has a quiet, polite way of speaking. Nemu's the type who prefers books over people, and she has a real gift for writing stories. She met Tuka and Ui while staying in the hospital. Her connection with Ui runs deep, and it's a key reason she became part of the Magios group, which aims to stop magical girls from becoming witches, no matter the cost. Her magical ability is to create rumors, also called Uwasa, and she's actually the one behind the rumors spreading across Kamihama City. The price for this power was part of her life force, which means she's literally trading away her life to keep the Magius plan going. She believes her sacrifices are worth it if it means saving magical girls from becoming witches. Nemu's doppel is called Pennen Nenemu, and it's themed after a Deathwatch beetle. The doppel devours stories using its bug-like hands and turns them into reality, meaning Nemu's imagination can become real at a cost. This doppel feeds off of Nemu's weakening body. The weaker she gets, the stronger the doppel becomes, but it uses up all its strength on creating things rather than fighting, so it's not great in battle. Oriko Mikuni. Oriko Mikuni is a third-year student at Shirome Middle School and is known among magical girls as the White Magical Girl because of her elegant, calm appearance. But behind that polished look is a girl who's gone through a lot. Her father, a respected government official, committed suicide after being exposed for corruption. After that, her classmates turned on her, which left Oriko feeling betrayed and lost. In that dark moment, she made a contract with Kyubi, wishing to know the meaning of her life. The wish gave her the ability to see into the future, which she later uses in battle and planning. After getting a vision of a future where Madoka becomes a powerful witch named Kriemhild Gretchen, who destroys the world, Oriko makes the tough decision to try to kill Madoka before that future can happen. This is where things get morally complicated. Oriko thinks she's saving the world, so she teams up with Kirika Kure to hunt down other magical girls and distract Kyubi from ever meeting Madoka. She also recruits a girl named Yuma as a magical girl candidate to keep Kyubi busy. Oriko ends up killing Madoka by using a shard from Kirika's witch form to impale her, but she's shot and killed by Homura right after. She later shows up in another timeline, fully aware of everything she did, but this time she's supported by the new Kirika and finds peace with herself. Oriko's magical girl abilities include seeing the future and even levitating in Magia Record. Her main attack is called Oracle Ray. She fights using floating metal orbs and often uses her foresight to plan her moves and stay ahead of her enemies. Her white and gold magical girl outfit and her calm, collected demeanor give her a clean and noble look, but she's willing to get her hands dirty if she thinks it'll help the greater good. Kirika Kure. Kirika Kure plays a huge role in both the main storyline and several side stories. She's a magical girl who fights with sickle-shaped claws and has a wild, unpredictable personality. But beneath all the chaos is a girl who just wants to feel loved, noticed, and needed, especially by her best friend and crush, Oriko Mikuni. Kirika used to be a quiet, timid girl who avoided others after being betrayed by her former best friend, Erika Mamiya. Erika framed her for shoplifting and disappeared without a word, which left Kirika hurt and angry. That betrayal made her push people away, thinking no one would remember or care about someone like her. Then she met Oriko. When Oriko helped her in a small act of kindness, it changed everything for Kirika. She became obsessed with getting close to her, but felt like the old Kirika wasn't good enough. So she made a contract with Kyubi, wishing to become a different Kirika. That wish changed her personality completely, making her more aggressive, impulsive, and totally loyal to Oriko. In battle, Kirika uses sickle claws that sprout from her wrists. She can summon multiple claws and even throw them. Her attacks are called Stepping Fang and Vampire Fang, which sends chains of claws flying at enemies. But her biggest trick is slowing down her enemies, or even the area around her, making it look like she's super fast when really she's just messing with time. Her strength and reflexes are intense too. She's strong enough to snap necks with her legs and tear through witches with her bare hands. Kirika is touchy about love and loyalty. She doesn't like people using the word crush and believes love is serious and all-consuming. She only really opens up around Oriko, treating her with intense devotion. For everyone else, she's distant, moody, or straight-up hostile. In one story, she even fights Mami Tomoe and nearly kills her, confirming she's the one responsible for several magical girl murders in the city, all done to help Oriko carry out her mission to stop Madoka from becoming a world-ending witch. Suzune Amano. Suzune Amano stands out in the Madoka Magica universe as a magical girl assassin. During the day, she's a polite and hardworking student. At night, she hunts down magical girls with a calm, cold focus, never showing much emotion even when she kills. She always asks her targets for their names before finishing them off, and afterwards she writes those names down on slips of paper and keeps them in a pouch, a habit she picked up from her mentor, Tsubaki Mikoto. After her parents were killed by a witch, she was saved and taken in by Tsubaki, a magical girl, who treated her like her own daughter. Suzune eventually became a magical girl herself, with Tsubaki as her guide. But things took a tragic turn. Tsubaki kept giving Suzune the grief seeds instead of using any herself, and eventually turned into a witch from the soul gem corruption. Suzune had to kill her, and that broke her. After learning the truth behind magical girls and witches from Kyubi, she made it her goal to prevent more witches from being born by eliminating magical girls before they could fall. Suzune later moved to Hozuki City, where the main events of the manga take place. She goes to school during the day and works as a newspaper delivery girl. At night, she continues her mission. One of her early kills is Kaname, a kind magical girl who admires Suzune's fighting skills. After killing her, Suzune finds herself more noticed by other girls like Chisato, Arisa, Haruka, and Matsuri, and her cold actions start affecting the group. Throughout the story, her actions bring her into direct conflict with the girls of Hozuki City. Suzune kills Chisato, injures Arisa, and ends up repeatedly fighting the rest of the group. Haruka, Matsuri, and Arisa struggle to understand her motivations, while Suzune keeps insisting she's doing the right thing, even though deep down, she's clearly unsure. Matsuri especially gets close to her and believes that Suzune doesn't enjoy the killing. Suzune denies it but still listens to her. At one point, she asks out loud to Tsubaki if she's really wrong, showing her growing doubt. The major turning point comes when Suzune battles Arisa, who unlocks her boost magic and nearly beats her. Suzune would have died if not for Kagari, another magical girl with memory manipulation powers, who kills Arisa and begins messing with Suzune's mind. Kagari forces Suzune to relive traumatic memories and pushes her emotionally. Suzune eventually fights back with help from Matsuri, and with Kyubei's help, they manage to destroy Kagari's witch form. But Matsuri is consumed by familiars during the fight, leaving Suzune devastated. She uses everything she has to kill the witch and protect Matsuri, even sacrificing her own shot at survival. At the end of the story, Suzune uses the last grief seed to save Matsuri. With her soul gem on the verge of breaking, she walks away alone. When Matsuri catches up to her, Suzune threatens to erase her memories, but Matsuri begs her not to. Hearing this, Suzune thanks her and, knowing there's no other way, crushes her own soul gem to end it. Kazumi Sububaru. Kazumi Sububaru starts off with zero memory of who she is, literally waking up naked inside a suitcase. From there, she's thrown into a chaotic mess of fake bombs, witches, and shady people, all while trying to figure out her past. As she digs deeper into her past, she learns that her real name might not even be Kazumi, but she sticks with it because she's trying to reinvent herself. One of her weird quirks is her witch sensor, a little hair antenna that twitches when witches are nearby. She also loves food, especially Umika's cooking, and uses whether people finish their meals as a way to judge their character. For example, she once decided someone was evil because they left food on their plate. Kazumi learns that she's part of a magical girl team called the Pleiades Saints, who go around capturing other magical girls and taking their soul gems before they become witches. These gems and bodies are then locked away in storage, while the team searches for a way to fix the magical girl system. That system turns magical girls into witches, when their hope turns into despair. Kazumi doesn't agree with everything the team does and struggles with whether they're actually saving people or just doing something equally awful. Over time, Kazumi finds out that she made her original contract to have just one more day with her dying grandmother. She didn't ask to cure her illness, just to have one final normal day with her. That's where her love of cooking comes from. Her grandma taught her how to make strawberry risotto and gave her the earring bells she always wears. Umika Misaki. Umika Misaki is part of the Pleiades Saints, a team of magical girls trying to fight back against the dark fate that magical girls usually face. Umika isn't just a fighter though, she's actually a famous novelist. She supports herself and her two closest friends, Kazumi Sububaru and Kaoru Maki, while their parents are away. Her income from book sales keeps them all fed and housed. Despite being rich, she's weirdly stingy. She'll go out of her way to save even a single yen at the grocery store. Umika's wish was very specific. When she made her contract, she didn't ask to be a great writer or famous. She just wanted to meet an editor who would treat her work with respect. That's because someone once stole her story and gave it to a popular idol to publish instead. That trauma is a big part of her character. She believes in her own talent and doesn't want shortcuts. She wants the recognition she deserves. In battle, Umika has strong barrier-based powers. One of her biggest moments early on is when she jumps into a witch's labyrinth to protect Kaoru and uses a barrier to keep them alive until help arrives. But being a magical girl in this universe is never easy. Over time, Umika and the rest of the Pleiades saints discover dark secrets, like the fact that magical girls eventually become witches if their soul gems become too corrupt. Umika and the others start secretly collecting soul gems from other magical girls and storing their bodies in a place called the Freezer, trying to figure out how to save them before they transform into monsters. Umika also plays a big part in helping Kazumi regain her memories and uncover the truth about her own identity, that she's actually a clone of a magical girl named Michiru. When this truth comes out, it splits the group. Umika and some of the others want to revive Michiru, even if it means losing Kazumi. But after everything they go through together, Umika eventually defends Kazumi, saying she's more than just a copy. Her strength and will are real, and nobody made her up.